This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Hello to everybody who forgot to record the hello part, so you're recording it in a weird hallway behind a show in New York City. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, 1 phone call. No names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. If you're not in the mood for a long intro, just remember BeautifulAnonymous.com for extra stuff. PunchUp.live/Chris Gethard for my tour dates. If you want to skip about 3 or 4 minutes ahead, you'll be right at the beginning of the phone call. Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. Thank you so much for listening to Beautiful Anonymous. I want to keep this one quick. I want to thank the 916 people currently signed up at BeautifulAnonymous.com for more content every week. Extra time with the callers, ad-free episodes, people at the top tier. You get a number once a month that only you get for increased chance of being on the show. You get follow-up calls. This month, we're actually going to hear from our old producers, Jared and Anita, as well as our current producer, Andrea. We just like to give you good stuff out there. Thanks to everybody who has signed up. Thanks to everybody who has gone to punchup.live/Chris Gethard and is buying tickets to my show. Boston is selling very nicely for October 2nd. Jersey is almost sold out on October 3rd, but Boston is outselling Jersey. Baltimore's looking pretty good on the 4th. Philly, we need some help. Philly on October 5th. And Hamden, Connecticut on October 6th. And then a very, very special show on October 10th in Anaheim, California. That is one that I'm doing through my nonprofit, Laughing Together, where I send artists into schools. It's part of the convention of our parent organization, Wellness Together. And it's going to be a really great show. You don't need to come to the whole convention. You can buy a ticket. Southern California, come on out. Enjoy some laughs. I would love to say hello. And on top of it, you know that your money is supporting mental health initiatives in schools. All of those are at punchup.live/Chris Gethard. And remember, sign up for our bonus content at beautifulanonymous.com. This week's episode, I will tell you, it's someone who has a lot in common with me in many ways. Love to all the social workers out there. If you listen to the show, you know there was a stretch where I was going to go back to school for a social work master's degree, and then I started Laughing Together. Wellness Together hired me to build this arts initiative for them, and I said, oh, this is pushing the same buttons. I don't need to spend the 3 years in school. But today's caller is someone who transitioned out of her old life into the world of social work. And I'll tell you, I know that the show is very popular with social workers. I've always heard that from people and met a lot of people and been very proud of that. And hearing about that transition, it's not the only thing we talk about, but hearing about it was very inspiring. I also will say I did at one point need to explain Hawk Tua to this caller, and I'm not proud of that. Anyway, you're going to like this one. Enjoy it.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
How are you today?
I'm good. I did that thing we all sometimes do where I scheduled a whole workday and then realized I managed to double and sometimes triple book myself, and then I had to cancel a bunch of stuff. But everybody does that, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of guilt when it comes to like canceling on anything. So I wonder if you're feeling that way at all.
Oh, believe me. You don't have to listen to this show for too long to understand that my relationship with guilt goes back to very early in my childhood.
Yeah.
How are you? How are things with you?
I'm doing okay today. Today's a day off. I'm a little bit nervous, and I didn't really come in with like something to talk about.
Right.
So I was thinking I could get the nerves out just by like talking about my love of the Jersey Shore.
Oh, we're golden. Yeah, we can talk for an hour about the Jersey Shore. You want to talk about the Jersey Shore? Much maligned nationally because of the show with the name Jersey Shore, giving it a reputation. And as someone who hangs out there, you can speak to this. It's not that the things that show portrays are untrue, but they are far from the sum total of what the Jersey Shore is.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the end of I hate the show for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you from Jersey?
No, so my dad's from Jersey. He's from Rahway, New Jersey.
That's a great
Lived
town.
there for about the first maybe like 35 years of his life, and then I was primarily raised on Long Island. So I feel like culturally that's an interesting mix because they're similar, but they're still like so different.
Well, New Jersey and Long Island both have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because of, New York viewing them as laughable places and maybe, let's be honest, trashy places, if we want to use some language that stings.
Yeah.
And we all know neither one is viewed as Connecticut. They're not. That ain't Westchester. That ain't Connecticut. Jersey and Long Island have a weird thing where they're very similar places in a lot of ways, but they also have a lot of smack talk about each other because I think they see too much of themselves in each other. There's a lot. There's a lot going on there.
I think that Long Island loves to hate New Jersey more than New Jersey hates them back.
We ain't thinking about Long Island. Long Island has all these things to say. Meanwhile, everybody I talk to who grows up in Long Island says they've seen someone throw up on the Long Island Railroad. I'm going, so what's so great about Long Island if all of you have stories about seeing people vomit on the LIRR?
I've had way more dignified experiences on Jersey Transit. And I've spent a lot of time on both. And I've also seen, I haven't seen someone puke on the Long Island Railroad, but I've seen the remnants of someone who has just gotten sick as I've boarded the train.
There you go. You've seen have you seen any fights on the LIR?
Like a few verbal altercations, but nothing that escalated to a point of concern.
I like Long Island. I have a lot of love for Long Island. I also think there's a lot of great musicians that come from Long Island. I love it. But Long Island does really love to lay into Jersey, and I think it's insecurity. But we all know that both cultures, if we're really being honest, it's kind of like Long Island makes fun of Jersey, Jersey makes fun of Long Island. We all kind of know that it's really Staten Island that's the problem.
I feel like I know nothing about Staten Island other than it's a means of me driving from New York to get to visit my parents in New Jersey.
I have to say, living in Long Island, there's a lot of great beaches and beach towns. So the fact that your family has a dedication to the Jersey Shore, that's rare. That is rare. Long Islanders usually don't make their way down to the shore.
And I live in Queens now, and I get to go to, still go to Long Island beaches, still go down the shore, and appreciate them for completely different reasons.
I love this. I also miss my days in Queens. I mean, I love Jersey to death. I love that I'm home, but I also miss getting the best meal of my life for $8, and you have leftovers for 2 more meals, and it all came literally out of a shopping cart full of charcoal on Roosevelt Avenue in Jackson Heights.
Yep.
Like, this is
Yeah.
the best food I've
I love
ever
that stuff.
eaten, and I'm pretty certain none of this is licensed by the city, and I may never see this particular conglomeration of street vendors again. So enjoy it while you got it.
Sure. Yeah, I will. I know not to take it for granted.
Oh, it's the best. You literally can live in Queens, New York. Everyone, no one, I don't want to say it because that's actually untrue. If everyone in America spent 2 years living in Queens, New York, I firmly believe that racism, classism, homophobia would go down across the board nationally.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I think Roosevelt Avenue especially is like the perfect example of that. I don't live in that neighborhood, but I worked there for a little while. And it's just a lot of different people existing in a space quite peacefully, and street fairs of so many different cultures that, you know, populate these neighborhoods, and like all just welcoming of whoever's there walking down the street to like enjoy the festivities, I have found.
Queens, though, is a place where you can wake up in Queens, and if you're like, oh, I actually have a few hours around lunch to kill, I want the best Greek food I've ever had. Well, cool. Get to Astoria.
Mm-hmm.
I want the best Thai food in America. Great. Get to Woodside. I want the best Chinese food, and I want options on which region of China. Yeah, you can go to a food mall in Flushing where you have literally 9 operating stalls serving the best, most authentic food. I want the best Indian food in New York. Oh, right. We'll get up to Jackson Heights. Little India's right there. Little Manila if you want Filipino food. Everything is there. Oh, and also I just kind of want the best cheeseburger I've ever had. We'll go to Donovan's.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Donovan's on 58th Street.
Oh, love Donovan's. Go there all the time.
That burger makes me want to start eating meat again. Donovan's burger. Holy shit, it's so good.
Apparently it was just voted the best burger in Queens, some like online news.
Oh.
I don't know, tried a bunch of different ones, and recently rated one of the best by some source.
I think that's without question. And it's old school. It's an old school Irish pub with a great damn burger. Man, Donovan's.
Yeah, but you know, even if you're not having meat anymore, like I feel like the potato wedges that you get on the side are worth the trip. Where else are you getting like 3 potatoes worth of potato wedges on the side of your burger? Yeah,
it's true. Those wedges are no joke. Yeah. And let's not forget, everybody, I recently saw a lovely video online that was it was a lady who sort of sheepishly but really, really passionately was like, I think we've forgotten that potatoes are a superfood. And I just want to put it out there. Yeah, potatoes are a superfood, everybody. Let's get back on it. Potato consumption is down in America. Why? It's superfood.
Yeah, and there's so many things you could do with it.
This is everything I needed this episode to be.
Okay, I'm glad, because I'm worried that I'm not going to have something interesting.
You're crushing it. Now, what part of the Jersey Shore does your family hang out at? I will be able to tell you certain things about your family potentially based on what you say.
Okay, so their most local shoreline would be Seaside Park, Seaside Heights. They've been dabbling more in Island Beach State Park this year.
Okay. Is your dad a cop or a fireman?
He's not. No, he's neither.
Good guess, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, sure, of course.
Just based on hanging out down there. Now, Seaside Heights is the center of the lunacy that the Jersey Shore show has shown off. And now you're from the area and you've been hanging out there your whole life. You can vouch for me. Nobody's going to claim that Seaside Heights is not the things the show says. It's wild. It is overrun by weirdo culture. There are drunken fights on that boardwalk. Kids do go there after their senior prom to rent cheap hotel rooms, get drunk, and have their first sexual experiences. Don't ask me how I know. Don't ask me how I know. But Seaside Park is right next door. And by all accounts, chill and lovely. True or false?
Yes. I agree. Yeah. And like sometimes we'll go sit on the beach at Seaside Park, have your quiet little day, and then like walk up to the boardwalk. I always got to hit Lucky Leo's for skee ball. Used to be 3 games for $1, and now it's 1 game for $1, which that was sad when that happened. But they got to stay open. So whatever they got to do.
Inflation is hitting at all of us in every corner. You see inflation on the kitchen table. You see inflation on the skee ball. What do you call that? Track?
Yes.
What do you even call that? You see the skee ball in there. You see inflation in the arcades.
Yeah. And when I first moved to living in like Toms River from Long Island, my friends, they would come visit, and they all wanted to see. This was still, I guess their parents moved there. They actually moved there days after Sandy. And
Whoa,
so that was an interesting.
That's a bold commitment.
Yeah. It was sort of a planned move with my dad's company, and he was relocating, and the timing was just, that was how it turned out. But so it was its own thing. But friends would come down and they'd always want me to take them to the Shore store, the Shore House. And I was like, there's so much more to this than these landmarks from the show.
For anybody out there who's like, my family goes to the Caribbean or Europe, let's hear you do the sales pitch on why they should 1 year put those to the side, come hang out at the good old Jersey Shore.
That's so interesting because I tell people in my life, I'm like, I don't need to spend thousands of dollars to go on some like Caribbean vacation when I have the Jersey Shore in my backyard when I go to stay with family. So this is a hill I've already died on. It's just, first of all, beautiful beaches. If you are into like the bar scene, there's some establishments that have been there. I mean, not even just bars, restaurants like that have a lifetime of history on the shore. Some of them that my father went to when he was younger and then brought me to when we moved there to like show me all of these places. I don't know, accessible from the Garden State Parkway. You don't have to get on a plane if that's not your thing. If you live close by from, anywhere, Pennsylvania, DC, wherever you're from. I mean, I think it's just such an underrated place, and more people should have an appreciation for it. But it's also kind of like this local, like now I feel that I would be considered a Benny because I'm someone who travels down to enjoy the beaches. I'm part of that Sunday afternoon traffic.
A Benny, for anybody who doesn't know, is a derogatory term that people who live at the Jersey Shore say to those of us who only visit the Jersey Shore. There's a lot of rumors about the would you say etymological roots? I'm not sure if that's insects or language that I just said.
I don't know.
The roots of the language, a lot of people say that Bennies refers to people from Bayonne, Elizabeth, Newark, and New York. They're Bennies, and they come down from the northern cities, and they leave their trash in the sand, and they don't respect the shore. But it's kind of said playfully. And then when you get a little more south in the area that there's areas where it's more like the Philly types of, Philly shore. Like there's sort of the New York northern half of the shore, then the Philly southern half. They refer to their city people as shoobies, and the story there is apparently...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. I didn't hear that one until a few years ago, but apparently shoobies were known because they used to arrive by train with lunches in boxes that looked like shoe boxes. So they've called them shoobies. But man, I love it. I love it. I go at least once a year. I make some time. This year, my family, we went camping. I feel like you'll know where all these places are, which I love. We went camping in that Toms River-ish stretch, actually right on the border of Little Egg Harbor. And then we spent a day at Double Trouble State Park. We went to Wharton State Forest, and then we went out to Long Beach Island and sat on the beach.
Oh, very nice.
So we had a real South Jersey time. And we had something that I know you've probably had in your life, which is Core Brothers.
Oh, yeah. I just had one this summer. Yeah.
It's Core Brothers soft serve ice cream, everybody. Up and down the Jersey Shore, you find different stands serving soft serve ice cream. They're all called KOHR. Some are just called Cores. Some are called Core Brothers. Some might be called Core and Brothers. And no one can quite sort out what the hell is going on, except apparently there were at one point 5 Core Brothers, and they were pretty united. But then the 5 different branches of their family all keep opening up different stands selling soft serve ice cream, and there's all these rumors that they don't totally all get along and don't always appreciate each other's business practices, and that's real Jersey drama right there. The Core Brothers and their 5 different lines of descendants.
I'm learning a lot. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever done, if you go to Island Beach State Park, you could like park somewhere there. And then if you walk on the beach, like all the way to the end, you can actually see the Barnegat Lighthouse. And it looks, it's like a long drive down the parkway to get to Long Beach Island from, Toms River. And it's like, you can like throw a stone to the Barnegat Lighthouse. That's how close it is.
No,
it makes me...
Oh, it makes you what?
Well, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. But it's like there should be some sort of connector there. But it's just such a beautiful walk, and highly recommend.
I love it. I've never been to Island Beach State Park. That Andrea, the high priestess of Beautiful Anonymous, says that Island Beach Park, that's her, she has told me for a long time, that's her spot. That's the beach she loves as a South Jersey resident, native. But I have been to the Barnegat Lighthouse. So I've stood on the other side of it and looked over at the park, and I know exactly what you speak from that other angle. I love it. There's so much to love about the goddamn Jersey Shore. So much to love. I
love Asbury. Oh. I saw one of your stand-up. It was like the stand-up about New Jersey in Asbury
at the brewery?
Park. And I brought my dad, like as a Father's Day gift.
Oh, that's nice.
And I remember there was a joke, this is a while ago, but like about what's going on in Bayonne.
Oh yeah, nobody knows what's going on in Bayonne.
And
I defy anyone to tell me.
I agree with it 100%.
Yeah, and he grew up in Rahway, not too far.
Yeah.
Rahway and I always associate Rahway and Linden with each other because I think they share a parkway exit. Rahway and Linden, and my shrink is from Linden.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh no, it's not because they share a parkway exit. It's because the Northeast Corridor train line, those stops are right next to each other. I think when you're in Rahway, next stop Linden.
Yep. I spent a lot of time up there as a kid because my dad was from Rahway, but he had family in like Avenel and Colonia, so like that whole area. But it was always such an exciting thing to do for us to like, okay, we're going to New Jersey today. Like it was really hyped up that we're getting in the car, we're going to drive, through New York City and then go to New Jersey. Like it was so exciting to me,
I'm so glad to hear it. Most people are filled with nothing but dread, shame, and anger when they have to come to New Jersey. And then very often they have to eat their words because it's a beautiful place. And it taught me not to judge other places. And as I've traveled all over, I've learned that the things you see at first glance, those are not the things that matter about a place. You can't judge a place until you talk to the people in that place. Let's pause there. That's one of the truest things I've ever realized in life. So easy to judge from afar. Get close up, you will naturally judge less. Hey, we got ads. We'll be right back. It's been a busy season of events and travel, and my wardrobe has taken a beating. This is true for me. I tend to wear shirts until they have holes in them. I tend to go all over the country stuffing them into backpacks and suitcases. And I'll tell you what, part of it is just because I'm not made of money. I can't just keep replacing clothes. That's not how my life works. I bet a lot of people are the same way. Well, guess what? You can get great stuff out there that looks good, that is visibly a cut above the standard all at prices that are way more doable than what you would expect for the quality. And I'm talking about quints here. And I love quints, okay? I have started replacing some of the worn out stuff with holes with stuff from quints, and it's better. Specifically, I have a gray sweater, and very often now, if you see me in public appearances where I need confidence, I am wearing a gray sweater. That's my gray sweater from quints. It's the best thing I own. It's quality, and everybody gives me compliments on it. And it's my lucky sweater now. Quince has all the seasonal must-haves like cashmere sweaters from $50, 100% European linen shirts, versatile activewear, and the best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices along with premium fabrics and finishes, which I love. I love that they're trying to do things the right way, in an ethical way, and also in a way that doesn't price gouge you, the consumer. And as mentioned, anytime I need to feel good about myself, you now see me in a gray sweater, and you can go, oh, that's the one Chris talks about on the show, because it's true. It's the best thing I own. Upgrade your wardrobe with pieces made to last with Quince. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful. Get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. Mint Mobile. Love everybody at Mint Mobile. You know what else I love? A deal. I love a good deal, but I'm not going to crawl over a bed of broken glass to get one. Just to save a couple bucks. I'm not going to degrade myself. You got to make it easy. You got to have no BS. You got to have no jumping through hoops. And that's why when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I was calling BS, but it turns out it really is that easy. You can get wireless for $15 a month. The longest part of the process, honestly, is going to be dealing with your old provider, breaking up with them. Mint Mobile is doing it right. You want to get started? Go to mintmobile.com/beautiful. And there you will see that right now, all 3-month plans are only $15 a month, including the unlimited plan. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. You can bring your phone number along with you. You can bring all your contacts. They make it easy. Find out how easy at Mint Mobile. Go ahead, get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/beautiful. That's mintmobile.com/beautiful. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/beautiful. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower, above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. I can't believe what's happening when I go to the grocery store. And I don't want to be histrionic. I don't want to play into talking points that are in the news. I'm not somebody who likes to whip people up. But you just go to a regular supermarket these days and you get meals not even for the full week. You get the sticker shock. I now know what sticker shock means because I have been sticker shocked. I can't believe how expensive it is to enjoy a decent home-cooked meal nowadays. Can't even go to the grocery store without that shock. But listen, there's an awesome solution out there. They got your back. It's called Every Plate. Every Plate delivers dependable, affordable, and delicious recipes right to your door. And forget the sticker shock. Every Plate meals start at only $2.99 per meal. Makes sense why they are America's best value meal kit with thousands of great reviews. Each box contains pre-portioned ingredients and easy-to-follow recipes ready in about 30 minutes. Every Plate is all about everyday low prices. Their pre-portioned ingredients mean that you only pay for what you need. Seriously, their meals end up being even more affordable than your fast food go-to. Plus, they're home-cooked and made with fresh ingredients. You can see it. We've all been there where you go to a drive-thru, you're just trying to get something quick. You go into the fast food, you're going, it's quick, it's cheap. No, it's not cheap anymore. Sometimes they're not even that quick anymore. And these are healthier and cheaper. It's the best. Every Plate's the best. They have a rotating menu of 26 weekly recipe options. You can always count on simple recipes you'll love. Plus, consistently great value week after week. Join Every Plate today. Pay only $2.99 per meal. Plus, get 50% off your first box for all box sizes. Get this amazing deal by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering code BEAUTIFUL299. That's code BEAUTIFUL299 at everyplate.com/podcast. Thanks to all our advertisers. Now let's get back to the show. And as I've traveled all over, I've learned that the things you see at first glance, those are not the things that matter about a place. You can't judge a place until you talk to the people in that place. It's impossible. You never, don't ever. And Jersey people give you the shirts off their back. But I've been to other parts of the world. I did a tour of the Midwest. And I'm not trying to slam, maybe I shouldn't even name the cities, but Kansas City. Anyway, maybe I shouldn't even say it was Kansas City, where we're in an area where it was warehouses and it was abandoned, and the venue was great. The Ship, great venue in Kansas City. And I loved this show. I loved it. And I'm walking around, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, hey, you're the comedian on the show tonight, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I think he was with someone who brought him, and he was very bold, just coming up to me. He's like, where are you from? I'm like, from New Jersey. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Have you looked around? Like, this entire neighborhood seems to be abandoned warehouses and then haunted houses, like all haunted house attractions that are closed for 10 months of the year. I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but don't get aggressive with me. Don't get aggressive with me. We can stand on the shore and stare out at the Barnegat Lighthouse and be overwhelmed by both the overwhelming nature of what nature and earth hands us, as well as the beauty of a lighthouse as man comes to navigate these rocky shores. So I don't really know why you think that's worse than this area where I'm not making fun of it, but posters for missing people who have disappeared from this neighborhood on every telephone pole. Why are you making fun of me, man? Don't judge. Everybody judging.
Yeah. The amount of shit I get for how much I love New Jersey has been a constant in my adult life.
I'm so glad. We had a caller who just yesterday, we put out the call, actually. You and I are taping this on a Wednesday, who saw me at a show in Cape May that was kind of a not great show. So I'm glad you saw me at that brewery show in Asbury Park, because that was a hot night. That was a good show. Yeah,
very fun, yeah.
Also, Andrea's telling me you didn't even mention New Jersey, and she's worried that all the callers are going to accuse her of showing a Jersey bias. But she says you didn't mention it in your call screening. So she just wants it on record that she doesn't have a pro-Jersey bias on who gets on Beautiful Anonymous. I almost said Jersey Anonymous. That would be an amazing spin-off show.
Yeah, when I spoke to Andrea, I was just flustered. So not much was said at all. and nothing was spoken of New Jersey.
You live out in Queens these days. Can I ask how you spend your days?
So I'm a brand new social worker.
Hey, I love the social workers. Social workers have always supported our show. Brand new. So you just got out of 3 years of grad school on that?
I went full time. So I did a 2-year program.
2-year program. Did you do it right after college, or is this a career readjustment?
Nope. I had a gap. We have kind of a lot in common. I moved to Queens and took a bunch of classes at UCB. This was kind of past when you were there, so probably this is 2016-ish, which is kind of what prompted my move to the city, and had a lot of fun doing that, and had a day job while I did that. And went back to school in 2022. I was working, my day job was in a more corporate setting, was not feeling the most fulfilled, and sort of reevaluated, and happy that I made the change.
Now, what was it? Any individual moments that made you say, I'm done? Was it more of a slow burn? And how did you find your way towards social work?
So I always really, just from my own experiences going to therapy, I was always very interested in mental health. I went to undergrad for music, but I took a ton of psychology classes as well, and just always sort of had it in the back of my mind that it could be something I would do one day. I was working in a music adjacent field as my day job, but it was still so much of a desk job, 9 to 5, every day look the same. And I found that to just be depressing and had a lot of like existential feelings about coming to a place every day, sitting at a desk and then looking at a computer until 5 p.m. and like counting down when 5 p.m. would hit. And now I go to work and I talk to people all day and I don't look at the clock until it's over, which was the goal. So that's going well.
And what's your specialization in social work? Because that could mean so many things.
Yeah. So right now I'm working in a hospital setting.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot comes at you.
So I don't want to give too much away, I guess. I just want to maintain
there's HIPAA laws.
There's
HIPAA laws and anonymity to protect on this one.
Yeah. But working in a hospital setting, really enjoying that. It's not what I expected to want to do. I pictured more of a therapy role, but I interned in a hospital during school and just really loved it. I didn't expect to love it because I just tend to be one of the more squeamish type of people about medical things. So I shocked myself by liking it. But it was unexpected, but it's been good.
Now, talk to me, when you go to social work school, which I applied to a grad program at my alma mater of record and got in and then didn't go because I instead started Laughing Together, and that has kicked off this really nice stretch of life where I get to supplement my art stuff with something stable and community focused and a lot of the things I wanted out of that social work degree. But when you start signing up for social work grad programs, especially when you get out there in the field, a lot of people go social workers. You hear that phrase a lot. You know, I think a lot of people go, okay, social work can lead towards like licensed clinical social work and people starting private therapy practices for themselves and picking up a client roster, things associated with that. But there's a pretty shockingly wide array of things that social workers are qualified to do. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the avenues presented in a social work grad program?
Well, I think first of all, that was part of the decision to do social work as opposed to like some other type of mental health counseling, just because I wanted to have a lot of options to work in different places and do different things. And so there's, of course, like the clinical role, which is more of what you think of as like, becoming a therapist in a private practice or a clinic. But there were also tracks there to study like community organizing and like what they call like macro level social work, more things that happen at the community level more than, doing individual work. But there's things to do with child welfare, really all sorts of careers you could have, which is what I kind of liked about it.
Do you have any classmates who went into stuff that you're like, oh, that's hardcore and I don't know if I'd be able to handle it?
Yeah. I'm thinking of one classmate in particular who worked with people like teenagers who were experiencing like gang violence. And, we would all talk about our experiences in classes. And I found that to be just one of the most difficult things to hear. And I gave her a lot of props for doing that work. Yeah.
Because it's become a little bit of a trope. Social workers have constantly told me they like this show. And every time I talked about applying to grad school, I would see a bunch of comments from people where I'm like, oh, there is a disproportionately high percentage of our listener base that are social workers. And I said much love to all of them. My instinct in my heart is to try to do stuff. But is it fair to say that in a lot of situations, social workers are the front line of, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say, holding together a civilized society?
I mean, I'm probably biased, but I would agree. Yes. A lot of times it's the person who's the front line of just some of the most difficult parts of someone's story. And I think, you mentioning that a lot of social workers listen to this show. When I was deciding to go back to school, I was talking to my therapist about it, and she was someone who worked in publishing and then went back to social work school later in life. And she's like, I really just love stories. And when you're dealing with social work, when you're working with people, you're hearing someone's life story every day. And if that's something you're interested in, then it's a kind of cool path to go down, because every day you're introduced to a wide variety of background stories or how people got to where they are. And I think that could explain a little bit why they like this show so much, because it's just cool to push play and hear someone on the phone talking to you who has a completely unique experience or is from a different part of the country. I very tri-state born and raised. So for me to hear a story from someone in a different part of the country, might think differently, might have a different background. That's what draws me to this show. So
That's very
I can see the overlap for sure.
I think of when you talk about gang violence mediation, I sit there, I go, there are social workers who walk into neighborhoods where, you don't need to watch too many documentaries or read too many articles on gangs to realize that the way that people get sucked into a life of gang violence, in the broadest strokes, I'm no expert, but you sit here and you go, there are people who are living in ways where they feel like there's no safety net for them, whether that's a family safety net or whether that's a government provided safety net or a social safety net that should come with societal infrastructure. It's people who feel like they don't have that, so they find a safety net within the context of a gang as a found family, and then they can get sucked into, especially at a young age, being utilized as a tool towards violence and crime in the name of that found family that is giving them a sense of safety and structure. And you sit there, you go, you don't need to be a brilliant genius to be able to pick up on this. And then you go, and there are people who their thing is, I went to school for 2 or 3 years, and now I'm going to walk into a neighborhood like the South Side of Chicago or areas of the Bronx where gangs have been firmly entrenched for decades. And I got to figure out how to have a conversation with people who need to know how to trust me while I still need to maintain my professional integrity. I need to be understanding of meeting them with where they're at, of not coming in and trying to solve everything for them, not trying to ever condescend, make them feel judged in it, but while also providing other pathways and options that can literally help keep people alive. Because it's not a joke.
Right.
It's not a joke that people are dying when they get involved in situations like this. I think of, any situation you ever hear about a young person who has faced abuse. There's a social worker who's a piece of that story. And you might not ever hear about it. You probably will never know their name. That's a faceless person in the, but that case, if it is something that is known about, if there's a kid removed from a school situation or a family, or being reacclimated to a school situation or a family, or living with a relative who's more distant than the traditional nuclear family, at some point, that kid's story involved a nameless, faceless social worker that you don't really get to hear about at the end of that story. But any kid you see who emerges from adversity and gets reacclimated and back into the school system, the workplace, contributing, providing for themselves, having a life that feels like it has some breathing room and some freedom of choice and self-determination about it, there was a social worker who was there when none of that seemed possible. And it's a profession that, I'm not trying to blow smoke, and I know you're biased, but I sit here and I go, man, it's a whole profession of quiet heroism and selfless heroism. And probably a lot of people who would go, please don't throw the hero word around. It's also a profession where a lot of people are probably underpaid for the level of stress they are put through by putting themselves right there on the front lines of all that. But I sit there and I go, man, social workers are right up there with teachers as far as, if you ask me, of being the people in the trenches giving to others. Yeah. And oftentimes social workers are working alongside teachers on the hardest cases that the teachers ever see.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
I can't imagine what you're seeing in a hospital. I know we can't get into it, but I sit there and go, you signed up for a hospital, not a private practice. This means you see some shit.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, what you sort of mentioned was like, you know, I think as someone who really truly is brand new at this, the part that I'm sort of struggling with, or where I find myself freezing up, is when someone says like, well, you don't know what my experience is like, or you don't know what this is like. And it's so true. And I think I'm still finding a way to, you know, say you're right and still be able to, and not shut down, and still be able to offer options or resources or something like that. But it's like, you know, when someone who has faced so much adversity or life of poverty, that I cannot begin to fathom what a day in the life is like, how to respond to that other than like, you're right. I guess that is the response. You're right. I don't know what it's like. Yeah, I think that's been a challenge so far for me.
Wild to think about how you've just made me realize, you know, there is a complicit level to doing any type of social work, I would imagine, which is before you have a right to teach anybody else anything, you have to have compassion that allows them to teach you.
Yeah.
And that's not
And I think
easy.
growing up, it's, you think of doing community service. Like I was also raised Catholic, and, you know, holidays come up and you do things and you do programs that are like outreach programs. But I don't think in those settings, I, as a kid, was like taught to ask or think about, like, I was just thinking about, here's like the service we're providing, because of this establishment we're associated with. And it's less of like, oh, what do people actually need or are asking you for, you know?
I mean, if we want to get into all that, I think you're laughing because, I mean, here's the thing, because I think about it, well, I'm in my 40s now and I have a kid, and I have found myself really drawn to this idea of service, you know, and I'm not patting myself on the back too hard, but I sit here, I go, in my old age, I sit here, I go, I want to organize stuff to help schools. I want to volunteer for the first aid squad. And so much of this goes back to when I was young, you'd be in the Catholic Church, you'd go every Sunday, and you knew, you know, being in a working class neighborhood, you knew, like, some of these families get to have a Christmas dinner because the rest of these families are coming together and quietly contributing money through the church, and they get to have food on their table. Then you also have other stretches where you go, but why is nobody helping the kid? Like, you get older and you meet the kids from that family, you go, these are nice fucking kids, and they're taking it on the chin, man. And why are we pretending it's enough to make sure they get fed on Thanksgiving and Christmas? Why are we patting ourselves on the back when the whole system seems to be failing them? And there is a culture of we'll handle it amongst ourselves. Don't say anything. You know, you sit there and you go, why is the whole system built to perpetuate that off the grid or off the radar instead of rearranging how the grid is laid out in the first place so that shit doesn't happen? You know, we can get into all that with the level of service and
Right.
Anyway.
And I think like I'm not someone who's still like currently practicing, but I value that growing up in the church like taught me to give a shit in a way and to serve people,
here.
but it was a good foundation for that, but it's like bigger than what that was, you know.
I mean,
bigger than like the one-off thing or whatever.
I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. The Catholic Church would be the most beautiful institution in the world if not for the, you know, long legacy of sexual abuse, homophobia, the perpetuation of war, the destabilization of the Middle East. Like, if not for its entire history, the Catholic Church would be the most shockingly beautiful thing on earth. And those things coexist in my heart. Yeah. Today, those feelings coexist. Of like, man, I was raised in a beautiful culture, and also, why did they hide all the kid touching? Why?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? I'm going to ask you something about culture. And I don't know if you're going to want to get into it because you seem nicer than me, but I'm in a little bit of a shit-stirring mood right now. If I'm honest, I'm always in a little bit of a shit-stirring mood. I just manage to be a professional and a functioning human and stifle that once in a while, but that's the truth. Anyway, enjoy the ads. We'll be right back. Maybe you're curious about things like Ozempic, but you can't get your hands on it. Well, that's where Ro comes in. Through Ro, you can access prescription compounded GLP-1s with the same weight loss ingredient as brand name GLP-1s at a fraction of the cost. If prescribed, your medication ships right to you in 1 to 4 days. They make it easy. I know everybody's talking about these types of things, and they're hard to get. Well, Ro is out here making it easy. Ro members have support through the whole process. If eligible for medication, patients have access to their provider on demand for any questions. It's very above board. You go to ro.co/beautiful. Memberships start at just $99 for your first month. Medication costs are separate. That's ro.co/beautiful. Go to ro.co/safety for black box warning and full safety info. Compounded medication is not required to and does not receive FDA review or approval. Prescription only. Boll and Branch. Oh my goodness, I just started sleeping on my new waffle blanket and it's soft and perfect and my wife loves it too. Thank you, Boll and Branch. I don't know why I am singing. I never sing, but this blanket honestly makes me so happy. I sleep really hot. I'm always sweating. It drives my wife nuts. We got this waffle blanket from Boll and Branch, and we both love it. We both feel like it's hitting the sweet spot for us. Fall is coming. We got these cold nights coming. You need a cozy bed. Build the coziest bed imaginable with Boll and Branch bedding, made with the finest 100% organic cotton. Start with Boll and Branch's best-selling signature sheets. They feel buttery, breathable. They get softer with every wash. Those sheets are the perfect foundation for better sleep. And did I mention the waffle blankets? Get yourself one of those right out of the gate. Absolutely incredible. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I mean, it is high quality. Comes out of the box and you go, whoa, this is high quality stuff. We've all made beds with bedding where we go, I don't know if I'm making the right choice. It never crosses your mind with Boll and Branch. I'm telling you, they look good, they feel good, and that waffle blanket is another layer in the Boll and Branch dominance of my bedroom, which sounds weird, but actually I think is truthful. Boll and Branch sheets are loved by millions of sleepers. Boll & Branch offers free design consultations so you can build your dreamiest bed with a dedicated stylist. Best of all, Boll & Branch gives you a 30-night worry-free guarantee with free shipping and returns on all U.S. orders of $100 or more. Start getting your best night's sleep this fall with Boll & Branch. For a limited time, get 20% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/beautiful. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLANDBRANCH.com/beautiful. 20% off and free shipping. Exclusions apply. See site for details. Thanks again to all our advertisers. Now let's finish off the phone call. I'm going to ask you something about culture. And I don't know if you're going to want to get into it because you seem nicer than me, but I'm in a little bit of a shit-stirring mood right now. I'm sitting here talking to you, and You're telling me career adjustment. I was doing this stuff that felt a little vacuous, a little empty. Needed to change it. Talk to my shrink. Social work. I'm working in a hospital. I got classmates working ground level with gangs. Kids caught up in gang violence. I know for a fact you're graduating class from that grad school. Some of them went into private practice, and that's great too, and they're helping people too. But there's probably other people out there helping people who really don't know how to help themselves and need it. And then you got to sit here and see the Hawk Tuah girl get a Hollywood agent and a development deal for drunkenly describing the Hawk Tuah. And there's a part of me that goes, society is broke. I sit here, you go on TikTok, you're like, there's people who make so much money every month by making prank videos where they go and harass people who are just trying to walk through a mall with their family. Or there's this one group of prank guys on TikTok where they go into areas that are the gang violence type of areas. They go into neighborhoods, and it's all targeted based on appearance, race, style of dress, and they will go up largely to men and sort of say things that are vaguely threatening to them and bait these people in trying to fight them. And then right before the fight breaks out, they go, "No, I was just kidding. It's a prank. Look, there's a camera." And I go, "You're just like baiting people who feel like their lives are not securely safe into fighting and violence." I say, "Oh, these videos, I'm going to watch somebody get killed on a TikTok prank video someday. And they're making thousands of dollars a month to do it."
Yeah. I have to ask, I'm not on TikTok.
Oh, good.
What's a Hawk Tuah girl?
You don't know about Hawk Tuah girl?
What? No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, so there's a girl, and I'm not mad at this girl, and she's making the most of it, and there's a part of me that this is going to become the talking point of this episode. So she's making the most of it, and there's a part of me that's like, and I can't believe I have to explain the fucking Hawk Tuah girl.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're a well-intentioned social worker. You are above this. So there was a video where it's guys walking up to drunk people, largely in college towns, and you go up, and this guy goes up to a girl. This happened this summer. I guess it was on YouTube. I'm looking it up now. In Nashville. So, people throw down and they get drunk and walk around in public in Nashville and asking inappropriate questions to attractive people, mostly like guys interviewing attractive girls. And he said, "What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?" And in her southern accent, she said, and this is the quote, I'm reading it, "You got to give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thang," referring to spitting on a man's penis while performing a blowjob. And it got...
I'm sorry you had to explain that to me.
Believe me. And it got millions and millions of views all over social media. It became huge success. And she had been working a job at a factory and quickly created... Nobody, for a few days there, it was like, who's the Hawk Tuah girl? And then she created an Instagram account. She blew up. She's founded a company. She's registered Hawk Tuah related trademarks. She has an agent in Hollywood now. She sells merch, Hawk Tuah merch. She makes paid appearances as the Hawk Tuah girl. She threw out the first pitch at a New York Mets game. She has a podcast now called Talk Tuah. And there's a huge part of me that's like, yo, If you're just like too many drinks in Nashville and some asshole with a camera comes at you and you go viral, make your money and God bless you. There's a big part of me that's like, cool,
Yeah.
be the Hawk Tuah girl. There's also a part of me that's like, the Hawk Tuah girl literally said you got to spit on that thing and is probably a millionaire. And I have a
Right.
feeling your friend who came out of grad school, who's walking into gang neighborhoods to try to help mediate gang violence, is not a millionaire. And I do have an issue
No.
with our priorities as a society sometimes.
Yeah. Like I haven't thought about it in the context of like social media people or influencers. I have thought about it as like, oh, in another life, I wish I could be someone that was cool, like working in finance and like being fulfilled. Yeah. But I knew that wasn't going to be I just knew it wasn't going to be a possibility. And during grad school, I babysat a lot all around New York. And, you know, I found that the people who work in finance seem to have like the most lavish surroundings. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to be fulfilled by this, but there's definitely something about it that makes life seem easier.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Let's go back to the Catholic thing. When you were raised Catholic, were you raised to quietly hate all rich people? Was that a part of it that was not ever said out loud, but subconsciously in there? Like, fuck the rich?
I don't know. That doesn't ring up. Like, I don't really think so. No. Do you think you were?
I had a little class war in me. I mean, I was also at a church with a lot of people whose parents or grandparents were immigrants.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually, there's a part of me that really respects how much the Hawk Tuah girl turned it into the Hawk Tuah thing. It's more like, hey, here's some prank videos of us like making someone think we're gonna beat the shit out of them, and then we're like, yeah, got you. Where I'm like, this is negative value to society. It's negative value to society, and we're all addicted to it.
Yeah.
I heard about that kid. There was some kid who was one of these aggressive prankers. He's a fucking prankster, but it's not like, I really actually like pranks when they're done in a smart way, but like this kid just
tastefully.
Like I think that shows scare tactics where they make you think, you know, you get somebody who thinks that they're cleaning up a medical facility that and it's a half man, half rat creature jumps out at them. I'm like, that I will laugh at in the right mood, but that has like makeup artists behind it and a whole like this idea of like, I'm going to make you think I'm about to punch you in a mall and then run away. There's a kid who got shot, I think in Virginia. Got shot. Like, this is what we're teaching our kids they should be doing with their time and effort. Right. Making someone so scared in a mall that they shoot you. And I don't think the guy who shot him is a saint either, but anyway.
Yeah. I don't have a TikTok, but you know, I see like Instagram reels, and thankfully my algorithm, I get a lot of like baby tries a lemon for the first time, sort of
those. I want to just live in that world.
Like
baby with
Dave Ramsey screaming at people.
What do you get? Like this baby had vision impairment, and they just figured out the right glasses prescription, and now you get to see him see his mom for the first time. Those videos?
Yeah.
That's what I want from the internet.
Yeah. What these platforms should be for.
Baby gets a hearing aid, hears their mother's voice for the first time? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna run up to you. I'm gonna run up to you while you're trying to eat at a Auntie Anne's pretzel stand in a suburban mall and knock your hat off your head and see if you'll fight me. No. No, turn off the internet. No.
Yeah.
Kid doesn't realize their parent is returning home from war, and the parent walks into the background in uniform, and you get to realize the kid doesn't see them yet, and you do. And you know what's
at the school in a box. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
random footage of some kid getting bullied until 30 other kids show up and beat the shit out of the original bully, but you're still watching children fight on the internet? No.
And
No.
those videos can all exist within like 10 seconds of each other. The emotional roller coaster you can go on in a matter of minutes.
We just plow them all relentlessly into our brains and imagine that we're strong enough that it will have no effect, but it does. And as you can see,
yeah,
I've seen them all. So who am I to judge?
Sometimes I think about, ditching the smartphone, but then I'm like, how the hell would I get around New York? That's how I know that the train's not running, and it's just like, it just seems impossible, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you. I feel like I've talked too much on this episode, and I do apologize.
No, I'm glad you did, because I was pretty nervous. So thank you for that. It made me less nervous.
We have a few minutes left, but just to get out of it, let me say, no need to be nervous. You've been great. And on top of it, happy to provide some distraction, especially hearing that you went into the field you went into, because it's selfless, it's giving, it's kind, and we need more people doing it. People burn out because it's not easy, and I'm glad you're in there.
Thanks. And it sounds like you're doing, you found a way, having not gone back to school, to fill that part of you too.
Well, I don't know what it is, but you get older, and I don't know why, but my instinct is just, you only get so much time on the earth, and don't you want to leave it better than you found it? And does anybody feel like it's better than we found it? Like, that seems to be pretty omnipresent right now. A lot of people feel like they're going, what changed in my lifetime that things feel more hopeless, more dismal, more dark? And I sit here, I go, just the very basic premise should be leave it better than you found it. And I want to, and I feel like this is also maybe part of why I have such an affinity for social workers. I sit here and I go, sadly, I don't know if I have belief that the types of changes that would make me feel hopeful can come from the top down anymore. Like, you look at the behavior of leaders, certainly in America, but worldwide to a degree, and you go, I don't know. It seems like there's some intentionality on their end to just being babies you look at Congress, you go, so just nobody will vote for the other, so nobody else has a win, and then we all have to stress twice a year about if the government is going to have a budget. You're babies. You're babies trying to win the PR game. You're not helping me. You're not helping my neighbors. You're not helping communities that really need your help. You're raising funds by creating more problems. When we all see it. But I'm starting to notice in my life that a lot more people are going, okay, I don't know if systemic change is possible anymore, but I'm starting to notice more and more people around me going, well, what can I do tomorrow? What can I do within a couple of years?
Yeah.
What can I actually sign up and do? Let's go do it. Let's get to work from the ground up, because from the top down, they're not giving us confidence.
Yeah. And for me personally, I feel like, COVID sort of changed my perspective on how I wanted to live my life. Like, it was a time of so much suffering and frustration and devastation. And it's like, it really, I guess, where that sort of like existential decision about like how I want to wake up every day and spend my life was impacted by that and feeling like at the individual level, like what can be done. In some ways, like it's also frustrating that it feels like so much has to be done from the bottom, you know, and that so much of it is put there because it, like you said, the larger systems or higher ups of government aren't like, it just feels like it's hard for anything to change for the better at a big enough level for it to change the course of society right now, I guess. Yeah.
You sit here and you go, I don't know if I believe in them lately. There's too many negative days. And even on their best days, it's a PR game they've fallen into, and we all have to sit here and throw our hands up in frustration at it. But I might not believe in that systemic change happening in any sort of quick or satisfying fashion, but I believe in myself, and I believe in someone like you when I talk to you. And then you sit here and you go, most individuals are probably doing something that would make me feel inspired or happy or hopeful, you know? And every time I can talk to one of those individuals, you sit there and you go, oh, me and you get to have this conversation right now, and I get to hear about you as a social worker. And I get to sit here and go, oh, if I'm talking to you, that means there's thousands of other people who share those values, and I just haven't met all of them yet.
Yeah, that's true.
And if we go one by one, then it starts to become neighborhood by neighborhood or email list by email list of people trying to do good, whatever it is. And you start to go, maybe we'll hold this goddamn ship together.
Yeah. And, you know, the Hakatua girl's also just one person.
That Hakatua girl,
you know,
she took that ball and ran with it. I'm not trying to talk shit.
Yeah.
It's just our priorities as a society are concerning.
Yeah.
And then you work all year in a hospital doing social work, helping people navigate through tough times. I'm sure hearing some tough stories along the way, filing a lot of paperwork in the process, dealing with the red tape and the bureaucracy. And you do that about 10 months a year, and it's all okay because you know.
I know what's coming.
We're talking lemonade.
Continue.
We're talking, you call them funnel cakes or Zeppelis?
I call them Zeppelis.
Thank you so much. We're talking salty water and hot sun on beautiful sand. We're talking skee ball at night. We're talking if you're walking around and it gets too chilly, get yourself an old airbrushed sweatshirt from the airbrush stand. We're talking go on a ride and scream your head off. We're talking go pump your fist and have too many drinks and dance until the sun comes up. Got that Jersey Shore.
Yep. It's always there when you need it.
The Jersey Shore is many things, but it is always there. That is true.
And I feel so much like there's and I'm not there full time, but even like the same guy at Wawa, like get my coffee, you know, he's, I don't want to name him, but I know his name. And I'm like, that guy's always there. And like, just, there's some roots here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once in a while you get really bummed out and you go, I just want to find a place where I can get one individual pizza slice that's wider than my entire fucking head.
Yeah.
Society Height has those too.
So have I. But I didn't realize that when I first got there. Like I got a pizza with my friends and it was like 3 feet long, and I just that was a rookie mistake.
Yeah, it's everything about it. It's the Jersey Shore is a perfect little slice of heaven, and no one should ever judge it again. And all of you, anyone listening, should make a point to come see it at least once in their lives, because you'll go, it's better than I thought. It's better than I thought it was going to be.
We even vacationed there when we lived on Long Island, and I was like, so when they were moving, I was like, this is awesome. We're going to like, you know, we would go to Point Pleasant at that point in our life. Like we're going down to.
Jenkinson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Our
Took my
time.
nieces there for the
Your
summer.
nieces-
Oh, is it up?
Our hour is up. Yeah. Look at us.
Okay.
A nice even split between Jersey Shore, how much Queens is rad, and then how we all need to do our individual parts to try to stop the downfall of society itself, and then also back to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah. Always back to the Jersey Shore.
Always, in one way or another. We're going to hang out behind the paywall momentarily. I'm going to ask you 5 questions that will allow us to learn more about you and your life. But in the meantime, we're going to say goodbye to everybody who's been listening for free.
All right. Thanks.
Caller, thank you so much, honestly, for doing everything you do, for stepping up to help others, and for telling us all about it. Thank you to our producer, Andrea Quinn. Thank you to Shellshag for the theme music. punchup.live/Chris Gethard for tickets to my shows. Our voicemail line is 973-306-4676. Our Instagram is Beautiful Anonymous Pod. You can join the Facebook group at Beautiful Anonymous, the community. Thanks so much, everybody. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions. Have you ever been attacked by a wild animal? Or any animal, actually. It doesn't specify wild.
Okay. So I have a very early memory. I was 3 years old and I went to like an Easter egg hunt petting zoo scenario.
Oh, no.
And a rabbit like clawed the palm of my hand and like cut it open.
A Catholic on Easter attacked by a rabbit?
Yeah, that's not good.
Have you ever noticed any situation where it's clear you have the proportional strength and speed of a rabbit, much like Peter Parker had with a spider after he was bit? Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.